All right, here we go. 5th of May. No, that's the 21st of May, sorry. 2016. At 1855. Wow, it's almost like, what is it, like 6 years to the date, almost? Today it's like, what, like 12, 11 today? It's 12? 12. Today is 12 of May. I actually wonder what JD was doing here. He came back, you can see that, I don't know the other gentleman, but the one here with the, I suppose, a sort of denim blue shirt, it's the security that passed away, rest in peace. And they're gonna go up to the Penthouse. Johnny used to own all 5 apartments in this beautiful building. I said before, I was there in 2014. I lived in LA for 3 months, and we went downtown, and a friend of mine buying some textile because she's a stylist. And there was a cafe around the corner, and I was waiting there. I saw the Eastern Columbia building a little bit. Beautiful Art Deco building, really, really nice. It always amazed me why those cameras they're not so good in terms of resolution. One explanation can be that they record with lower resolution in purpose, because otherwise the data rate will be just too much. So by having like a lower resolution than the camera perhaps is capable to record, they save on space. So a little bit of time has passed since they went up. Now you're gonna see them going back down. I remember this footage. You see JD being a little bit alarmed, and if you pay attention, there is something really, like, it's a brief moment, but it really makes you understand a lot of what could happen. You know, like the people are not talking to each other, but then there is a moment here where they, look at each other, like this moment, and you see the security go like, probably JD said something, and the security goes like, shh, like they've seen this before, they've been through this before, and that tells you a lot. Like people surrounding this other person, probably they've been accustomed to the tantrum, to the arguing, and who knows what else. So again, it's very consistent with everything that we have heard so far from JD, that every time there is an altercation, he removes himself from fighting. And this is the lady that works in the building. I don't know exactly the layout. I assume is in the foyer downstairs, and she's accompanying the cops, which were called allegedly after this alleged abuse. And I found it really, really interesting in the way that we have seen the videos, detective videos of Incredibly Average channel, which I have shared on my channel, and I put the link. And he has done a great job, really, really a great job of piecing together all the data that was publicly available, and just in a really good timeline. And but it's really interesting to see that now, knowing the existence of, for instance, like his videos plus this footage in the entirety, so much stuff makes sense, that you cannot tell anymore. You cannot say anymore like, oh, this is just a biased view of a YouTuber that wanted to read into it his own narrative. And if I I don't remember if this is the sister or it's her. Probably it's her, and this is one of the footage where also the worker here in the building had the chance to see if she had any a sign of, you know, probably of abuse. Even though this seems has happened in the morning, so, or not. Am I, now I'm confused. Was it the 20 or the 21? No, this is few days later. So few days later, the worker downstairs had the chance to see her, and of course reported. I don't know if she's on record, but I seem to remember that the people working in the building had seen her several times, and they reported no sign of any scratch or bruise or whatever. I don't know why they're replaying this, probably to show the timeline. I think half an hour passed since he was upstairs, and now they're just leaving. You know, we saw this already. And the cops, they were coming around another half an hour after this. Thanks to Incredibly Average, we have learned also that there is a chance that this friend of her had called the police. This friend called Ayo. And it turns out, it seems that this friend was not even there. Seemed like she was somewhere else, like in New York, either city or state. Some of you taught me that perhaps that could not have been possible, that she could have carried the phone call, because cops, they don't take phone calls from other states. I'm not sure. I'm 100% sure. As you see here in the timeline, this is more or less half an hour after JD left. And the concierge, I don't know how you call it, the concierge just, she just showed them, I don't know if they have to use a special key to go up, or she just, as a courtesy, pressed the button for them. You know, it's interesting to cover this, and a lot of us are caught up in it because you see the injustice. A lot of stuff that's been said. There are really great channels of lawyers, people which they understand law, and they have dissect all kinds of stuff. I think this is the boyfriend that lived in Penthouse, I think 5. That was the boyfriend of this. I think her name was Raquel, if I'm not mistaken, right? Friend of her. Both of them lived rent free. It's actually pretty remarkable when you consider that Johnny is such an incredibly generous person. That alone makes you understand why he's not an abuser. You don't just let other people use your space. Just let them leave through your stuff, you know, and you pay basically for everything. I don't think they paid for their grocery, but you know what I mean. So they just showed them. Those are okay. Those are 2 different cups, or that's the same. I got confused because if I recall, there was it's still the woman, which they both also deposed on the trial. I saw part of it of the female cop talking, and she testified that this is a guy. So okay, let's not confuse things. So that means like that 4 cops went by. All right. There's so much information around that you start to get lost. What is it? This is the day after the incident, alleged incident. It's like people had enough time to see her. If she had any kind of bruise. scar or whatever. I mean, the evidence is so much against this person. So much against. There's so much evidence to prove the contrary of what she's saying. It's just unbelievable, actually. And also quite frustrating, because as we are learning, as we are getting a little bit of knowledge on how the basics of being in court and law works, we understand that only certain parts of those things can be used. And I was actually watching. So this is the one in the middle. I think it's this Raquel friend. You see her. She's right here in the front of the camera. There is absolutely not a scratch on her face. This is a few days later. They've forgotten that there is a camera in there. The other person in front is the sister. And there's so much evidence against what she's saying. It's just crazy. And like I was saying, it's frustrating because only certain things can be used. I've learned also that she had to basically bring in her phone. They're trying to get stuff out of her phone, and there were complications because they were not using a license program to extrapolate the data from an hard disk or whatever. And the people hired by the forensic people hired by JD had problem going through those things, or to replicate those things in a manner that it's complying with the forensic quality or something like that, or what it's standard in terms of replicating those things that they're trying to get out of her phone. And they were also quite frustrating. This is a document which I think they were trying to get those things done quicker, but it was just not working. So there's a lot of stuff that cannot be used because also it's not being brought in, basically, to my understanding. And this is frustrating because, like that experience for me, when we heard the audio from Australia that Johnny Depp is just leaving and is basically calling names, and you just hear that part, and then you might be kind of prone to believe that, oh, okay, he's angry, he's calling names. But then there is an entire, like we've learned also thanks to the video of Incredibly Average, there is an entire audio of that evening that it's available, again, showing how much difference there is between what she's reporting and and what you hear. And again, a few days later, in the same elevator, bringing some boxes down, she's facing the camera, not a scratch. If I remember correctly, this is a part of the video where they're just waiting for her, and she seemed like distressed with something in her mouth. She seems confused. They're just waiting on her. Then she tries to eat something and she has something in her mouth. They're just waiting there, like just waiting, keeping the door open. I don't remember if this is also a moment where she's just throwing stuff. I actually wonder what she was eating. But this is the moment where they decide to divorce, or the paper of the divorce were served or something like that. Again, you see her, skinny face. There's not a trace. Look at that. I can see it huge on my screen here. There's not a trace under the eyes of any swelling or anything. As a, I've said this before, and this whole thing seems like one of those, premeditated scam which went too far. You know what I mean? And it's also said that perhaps people around her kind of fueled or like or directed her in that direction in the way of, you know, for demanding more things. The documents which are available out there, the request that she had for the divorce was pretty remarkable. Some kind of like 50,000 a month plus 2,000 for clothing, and I mean, wow. So probably here they were doing the filing, right? And the filing happened, and that part they were just trying to maybe avoid paparazzi or people that might, you know, see her, snap a picture. Like I said, maybe some kind of premeditated scam that just went too far. And then once it's too late, you have to run with it. You cannot take it back. It's like a little bit like that audio part of that we have covered on the channel, where Johnny says like, now it's too late, basically. Now you cannot take it back. Now you cannot clear your name, you know, because she was concerned about her her image. She even accused him that were his lawyers to force her to do so. And he just goes like, now it's too late, you know. Those are the cops. The body cam, you see again, we're watching from their perspective. They're going up. The concierge just...
Coffee's hot. Burning up. Word around Penthouse 3.
Press the button.
Be advised, we're stepping on onto the Penthouse level.
That's really interesting, though, to see, like, from this perspective, honestly. Knock, knock. Well, I have to say, like, they seem that they've showed up pretty rapidly.
How you doing?
Doing all right.
You guys had somebody come out here earlier?
Yes,
already?
we did.
Okay.
I can't remember their names offhand. We have the card inside.
Cyan, maybe? Yeah, we got another call. I don't know if it's related to the same call from earlier or if somebody called again.
Probably.
We just need to check.
One of you guys know someone in New York or something?
Yeah, she probably called twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just talk to your wife just to make sure everything's
Well, that's really interesting. Because the cops here are actually saying, like, do you know somebody from New York? So it means that probably then it's true that this friend called Ayo called from New York. And basically, two couples of cops showed up. And they have the same footage.
Conversation.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, whoever it is, I'm gonna step out. We just gotta check on them, make sure they're all good.
I'll go get the business card from the cops.
Yeah, I don't know. Just because we got another call and we came again, we still gotta make sure.
Give me 1 second.
Doesn't-
1 second. Back up, please. Back up.
Can we just, we'll just come in and
Just
check. We just need to make sure everybody in here is okay and then we...
So the cops, they just go like, hey, listen, we're just gonna see if everybody's good here, and then we are on our way. So, you know, this is the entrance. This is the entrance, and it's really fascinating because you can already tell, even if the footage is not such a great quality, that actually most things are, like, everything seemed pretty much in place. there's no
I don't know if she
distraction.
called twice
Look at that.
or whoever called, but we just got another notification. So
It must have been a mistake.
we just need to come in and make sure that everybody's okay.
Yeah,
That they're all good. Nobody else is in here.
no.
Okay.
The other officers came by and checked the apartment and the other apartment.
You see, there's like, seems like there's 2 people at least, or 3 people on the couch. This is from the point of view of the body cam. Everything around here seemed pretty much in place, like very neat if you ask me. That's neater than my house. And it's far from her claims of being destroyed, that JD just destroyed anything that could be destroyed. Another claim that it's totally debunked by this footage. Actually, I want to see if when I do the editing, I can lift the shadows a little bit of this part of the video and see a little further. Even though this video is pretty poor quality, I don't think I can pull anything out, but we'll try anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
it must have been like a double call.
Okay. Who's Amber? You? Okay. And Johnny?
Is definitely not here.
It's
Okay.
definitely not here, and neither should you that you are in his house. How about that? Huh? Just people living rent-free. God damn it.
Okay.
Left probably like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Everything's all good then.
Now it's yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, if you guys need anything else, just call us back.
Everything is in place. Nobody's hurt. You see it right here. You see it right here. Nobody is hurt. No one.
Thank you very much.
You have a good night.
Nice carpet. Everything is clean. I love this apartment.
Thank you, officers.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good night.
So I think this is the footage from the other cop. So we have both footage, both from the one in front and the one behind. And wow, what a story, yeah? Like, what a story. You don't want to speculate, you don't want to hate on people, of course, but you cannot help but feel that perhaps there was an argument, like a verbal argument that they start or whatever. Then JD just left because, first of all, probably at this point he couldn't take it anymore. And he just goes, and then maybe she was gaslit by her friends, or together they had a good idea. Hey, let's put something on record here. Let's call the cops, you know? Because this is exactly what happens. Stuff go on record. And then you make up some allegation. You break a bottle, you spray some wine on a wall, which now we know, thanks to other YouTubers, which they've done a great job at exposing this. And we learned also, thanks to again to Incredibly Average, that the pictures that were taken where you see wine stain and one bottle on the floor, which we managed also to retrieve what kind of wine it was. And it seems also there was like a $500 a bottle wine. And we've learned that probably everything took place in the other penthouse where her friend Raquel lives.
Okay. I can't remember the names offhand. The card is Diane, maybe. Yeah, we got another call. I don't know if it's related to the same call.
So this is exactly the same thing. So it's just I'm just gonna let it run so that we can talk a little bit on top of it.
Yeah, she probably called twice.
But I also want to see if the footage look a little bit better. Then maybe we can expose it a little bit.
Whoever it is, man, step out. You gotta check on make sure they're all good.
I'll go get the business card from the cops.
Man, if you ask me, that's freaking crazy. You go home, then you have an argument, and you are the one that has to leave. you have to leave your own house that you bought and paid for, and those freaking like scumbags. Sorry if I say that, but you know, at this point it seems a little bit clear. They just stay in your house leeching off of your success. Man, I gotta tell the police. We gotta make a phone call. Police, you gotta have a little bit of better camera here, huh? Low light performance camera -2. We need some better cameras. God damn it. Everything is in order. Even the dog's stuff on the floor was totally in order. Wow, actually this was interesting, man. This was really nice to watch. And again, we have also the confirmation from the other couple, the other police couple that went into the house and swept and checked if everything was alright. Nobody was harmed, nobody was injured. That's what they do. And she testified, I heard the female cop testifying that she saw no injury, nothing out of place. So that's quite telling. This alone should be enough.